Hi Techstars! Today is day 6 of our Master Excel in 30 Days challenge. I'm excited, are you? Today we are going to be looking at functions that are used to manipulate text in Excel. Fellow Techstars, so far we've been looking at functions related to numeric value. Today we are going to look at functions related to text, how we can use functions to manipulate text in Excel. Alright, let's get started. So this is the data set we used for our previous video, the exam scores data set. We are going to maintain that and try to manipulate the text we have in column A. Right away, I'll try to create a new column and insert it in between A and B. So just to refresh our brain, right click on the column after the column you want to create and then click on insert. Right, so we have insert. So it shifts the original column in B to C and then creates a new blank column in B which we can use. Okay, great. Let's name it editor text. The functions we are going to look at today are proper, length, lower, trim, and upper. I'm hoping this will be a short video because we are looking at just these few functions. Alright, so back to our formula builder. I try to do this most of the time so that you understand how to quickly navigate through functions if you've forgotten how to use them or even what they are used for. So proper, once you come to proper, it says convert a text string to proper case. When we say proper case, we're talking about capital casing. The first letter in each word to uppercase and all the other letters to lowercase. So let's look for text that has let's look for cells that have two texts. So we have information technology, business management. We can also even use count blank here. So let's come here and try to use the proper casing on this. So I highlight and make active cell B10, come to the formula bar, equal to proper, then I just click on the cell A10, enter. You realize that it's the same because that's how we typed it in here. First letter was capital B, the rest small letters. First letter capital M, small letters. Cell A12, enter. Let's try that with count blank, but first of all let's separate the count from the blank so that it will treat it as two separate words, and then come to cell B20. Now formula bar equal to, then I have proper cell B20 A20, enter. So you can see it was all caps here, but it has capitalized it by making the first letter caps and then the rest of the letter in lower casing. First letter caps, rest of the letters in lower casing. Right, so this is what we mean by capitalization or using the function proper. Now let's move on to using the function length, len. Okay, so it says it returns the number of characters in a string. It's the text whose length you want to find. So write the name of the function len, then into brackets put in the text whose number of characters you want to find. So I'm going to name this new column len so that we can find the length of all the courses that we have here or all the text that we have here. Alright, so I come to length, the first one. I come to the formula bar equal to sign, then I use the formula len or the function len. Then the text I want to find is literature, A2, enter. It says 10. So when you try to count the number of characters in literature, you realize that it is 10. When it comes to len, len also counts space. So space bar. For example, literature that I have here, I add a space to it and press enter. You realize that it updates the result of this formula to 11. It was previously 10, but it's now 11 because after literature I added a space to it. So it also counts space as part of characters in Excel. Alright, algebra. So let's come to length. Let's come to cell F3 equal to length of A3, enter. 7. So as you can see, when you count the number of characters in algebra, you're going to get 7. Let's do one last sample with length. So equal to length A4, trigonometry, and it's 12. So instead of wasting our time and doing this over and over, you already know how to populate a cell using the handler, automatic handler. So I just double tap this, or I drag to wherever I want it to auto generate, and I have this. Let's just double check to be sure. So 6 is Arabic. Yes, Arabic is 6. Arabic is a 6-letter word. Spanish is, I think, 7. Yeah, so it's 7. French is 6. Yes, it's 6. Chinese is 7. Yes, it's 7. So basically, it was able to pick the pattern and auto generate the rest of the values. So far we've looked at how to use proper and len. Now let's look at how to use lower. So assuming I want to change the casing of all of this to lowercase, I can do that. So I come to this column. I'm trying to change literature to lowercase. So we use the function called lower. Now let's come to formula builder and look at lower. It converts all letters in the text string to lowercase. So you put in the text you want it to convert to lowercase. So you type in lower and then put in literature. Enter. So you realize that it changes our capital L to a smaller L. Algebra equal to lower. Enter. Let's do that for trigonometry. Great. So basically this is how you use lower to change the casing. Now after we've looked at all the functions we want to look at today, I'll give you some insights to how important some of these functions are going to be, how you can use it in your practical analysis or your practical day life. All right, so our next one is trim. So let's go to our formula builder, check out trim. So it says it removes all spaces from a text string except for single spaces between words. That means information technology, if I use trim on this, it's not going to remove the space in between these two words because this is a single space between two words. Assuming I put in double space between these two words, it's going to take out one of the spaces. Or if I put spaces around the business management, there was a space before the B and there's a space after the T, it's going to trim all those white spaces away. Okay, so if you would remember, when we came to literature, I placed a space after the E. At the end of literature, there was a space. So let's try to trim it. And then after that, we'll try to look at the length of the trimmed value. Okay, so to trim it, let me create a new column called trim. Come to literature, called trim. Come to cell G2 equal to trim. A2. So trim cell A2, enter. So we have literature. Be reminded that I'm not trying to trim the edited text where we had the lowercase letter. So it's still going to maintain the uppercase letter, but then it's going to remove the white space. Now let me try and find the length of this new trimmed literature. And then you realize that it is one shot. It will become 10 instead of the 11 we have here. Let's try it. So can you see 11, 10? Because here the white space is trimmed. So it's now 10 characters instead of the 11 characters with a white space. Or let me just edit business management. Put in another space inside of business management. Now look at business management. It had 11. But once I put in another space, I even want to put in another space at the end of it and press enter. This 19 is going to change because this 19 is referencing the length of business management in A10. You realize there's now 21 because I placed an additional space in between the business and management and then an additional space after the management. Now let's try to trim it. Trim here. So in our formula bar, equal to trim A10. So I still have business management. It looks as if nothing has gone on, but when I come to length here and try to find the length of our new trimmed business management, then you figure out the difference. So you see 19 versus 21. So 19 is the trimmed one, 21 is the one with the white grade. So basically that's it about trim and lower. So our last function here is upper. So we are going to turn French, Chinese, and German to uppercase here. So equal to the function upper and then French, enter. So French is now in uppercasing. Chinese equal to upper, then Chinese, parenthesis close, enter. German, so here equal to upper, German A9, parenthesis close, enter. So basically we've been able to turn these into uppercase and then lowercase. Right, so simply this is how we can use proper length, lower, trim and upper functions to manipulate text in Excel. Now I told you I was going to give you an insight on how these things are going to be very relevant in your analysis or your everyday life. Okay, so an example is you've created a system that accepts username and password for a user to log in into your system. Now, when it comes to username, someone's username could just be Nana, right? Nana, Nana. Now, in inputting the username, there are times where Nana could be spelled as small letters or lowercase letters Nana. There are times that maybe when the person is trying to sign in, the person might use caps Nana or even capital casing. But because when it comes to usernames, you are not really particular about letter casing, you would like to first of all put all the username characters into one casing, probably put them all into lower casing and then compare it with what you have in your system so that the person can easily sign in regardless of the casing, the letter casing. So that's one practical use for changing the casing to be able to compare it to what you have in your database. There are other times where you have a system where people enter data to create a data set and they made some mistakes concerning names. Names are usually supposed to be in proper casing or capital letters. So once you look at this data set and realize that some of the names are in lower casing, you just try to use your proper function to change all of them into the right format, which is proper casing, so that you can easily work with them. So these are some of the practical ways you are going to use this when it comes to length. For example, you have a system where when people are signing up, they're supposed to input a password of 8 characters. I'm sure almost everyone has tried to use a system like that. 8 or more characters, maybe a specific number of characters. So you use the length function to check if the number of characters the user has entered is standard to what you requested. Has he entered the 8 characters are requested, the 10 characters are requested, or is it less? If it is less, send the user a prompt that your password is short of 2 characters or short of 5 characters, right? So this is how you can practically use some of these functions in Excel. All right. Techstar, if you've stayed up until this point, I'm grateful and you have done well. I want to see you in day 7 of our Master Excel in 30 Days challenge. See you soon. Bye.